Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Social Media Manager for HAR. I'm joined this morning by Rita Blevins. Welcome, Rita.
Good morning.
So before we get into a lot of stuff that we're going to discuss with Rita this morning, Rita, if you don't mind just introducing yourself for us.
Sure. My name's Rita Blevins. I'm the Director of Professional Development for the Houston Association of Realtors. I've worked here for almost 21 years.
Yes.
June will be my anniversary. And first 10 years were built around event planning, and last 10 years or 11 years has been all about professional development.
Okay, that is awesome. So can you explain to us what professional development really is?
Okay, so I had a question the other day about, saying, professional development is all about training and classes, but it's not really just that. It's about professional development, creating yourself to be a person that is a true professional when it comes to your industry. So offering opportunities for the member to be able to become proficient in real estate, treating it like a career and not just a hobby.
Right. And so your day-to-day here isn't just scheduling classes, right? What is your day-to-day typically like?
Well, it is some scheduling classes and getting the calendar set and determining what classes are going to be best suited to offer throughout the year, what's going on in the industry that we want to make sure that we provide. But a lot of it is looking at, trends, research, and then laying out opportunities for our members to learn more about that.
Absolutely. And then every year you are also the liaison for the leadership program as well.
I am.
And over 300 agents have gone through that program with you?
Yes. We started the program in 2008. HAR adopted that as an opportunity for some of our most involved members to become more proficient in real estate, and then to come back and be leaders in both the community and the association.
That's great. You really are the guru of all things professional development. So we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
So let's just get into some of the questions I have for you. So we hear sometimes people talking about having a niche. How important is it for an agent to have a niche?
I think it's very important. And it can be anything from affordable housing to working with buyers or sellers, luxury market, really anything. But if you can become extremely professional and proficient in that specific area, then it'll help you to kind of determine your path and become more profitable in that area. And so, learning everything that you can about that one rather than trying to spread yourself out and just be the jack of all trades.
Right. Sometimes I hear agents, they'll introduce themselves and they'll say things like, I specialize in the Houston and surrounding areas. And it kind of makes you wonder, how many zip codes is that?
Yeah.
Right? How many school district boundary lines? And so, I mean, I can't really imagine specializing in all of that, right?
Yeah, well, no. And you could specialize in a neighborhood or an area. And then just to think about that if you are that market specialist in a specific zip code or neighborhood, and then you become that resource, you're able to, farm the area and become that resource, kind of have that face. And so, and just being able to know that neighborhood, whenever a consumer asks you or a client is looking, first of all, they know to go to you because you're there and you know it all. And then, you know more than they do. Right. And that's key with access to everything that there is for the consumer now.
Do you think that some agents have a fear of defining a niche and maybe afraid that consumers would say, if they specialize in that, I'm not looking for a luxury home, for example?
Well, it could, but it could also, you have the opportunity then to say, as long as they know you're there and you are a realtor and a professional, then you could refer them, or they might reach out to you and say, hey, I know that you specialize in luxury, but I'm not quite there.
Yeah.
Who could I, and then you could do referral. And
right.
So, I guess there's a fear, but if anything, it just helps you become more valuable in that area. So,
yeah. So we've spoken a little bit about value propositions on this program. What would you say is the value of a value proposition?
So I guess creating and implementing, and first it's actually establishing your value, right? Determining what you are the expert in, how and how that you will best suit the client in that area. So it is extremely important not only to have your value proposition, but then to be able to convey it and then, implement it. Because you can say all day long, like, I'm the most amazing person when it comes to understanding, representing a seller in this certain marketplace. But if you don't actually know how to do that, then it becomes very apparent quite quickly.
So I want to just take a second. If you do have questions for Rita, type them into the comments and we'll get to those questions for her. So something this was recommended or asked of us if we could talk a little bit about coaching. Okay. So do you think that coaching is a good idea? Should agents seek some sort of outside perspective, maybe even when they're trying to define their value proposition?
So I think a lot of times what happens is you're trying to, you get the cart before the horse. And so you're trying to figure out what are you going to do. So I think the most important thing is to lay the groundwork for, how do you define success? Like, are you going to be a full-time realtor? Are you going to be a professional? Or is it going to be part-time? Is it going to be a hobby? Are you really wanting to be successful? And so then, laying out, creating your business plan and your strategic plan, writing it down, making a plan. And then from there, you can determine what your next steps are. And so if you look at hiring a coach oftentimes comes after you've kind of started into the business, but you don't necessarily have to hire a coach. You can utilize the services of your brokerage. And, a lot of times you have brokerage models that are set up so that you have staff there, support staff, or the broker itself that will be a resource for you. But really the idea behind a coach is to create an atmosphere of accountability and to be able to help you determine what paths you're on. It's kind of like somebody looking at it from the outside in. And so there's a lot of questions that you want to ask when you're looking if you decide you want to move on that path. I would say the majority of top producing agents have a real estate coach that they use the services of. It's a type of professional development, and it creates higher performing agents long term.
So you said there's questions you should ask when you're shopping for a coach. What do you recommend that they ask?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to understand that it's not a one size fits all. There are different types of coaches, coaching systems, different levels of engagement, and then obviously different pricing structures.
Yes.
And so, you might dip your toe in and then realize you need more or you need less. Some people will hire a coach and then use that service and get their feet, get planted in what they're doing, and then they don't need it long term. Right. Some people use a coach forever and ever. But some of the questions, you obviously want to make sure that they have experience, that they've been successful. I mean, they've been where you have been, and that they're innovative and constantly changing. Asking them, do they have systems in place, and how accessible are they going to be? So there's all different questions. Again, like go back to there's different levels of coaching. So what does that look like on a week-to-week basis? Am I going to be hiring that particular coach, or does he or she have people that they send or talk with on their, is it in person? Is it a team? And if you are thinking about being a team structure as far as your brokerage or your agent format is concerned, what does that look like from a coaching standpoint? Are they just going to be coaching you, or are they going to be coaching the whole team? And then price, of course, is a key. Some people start low and kind of increase what they can afford, but it does tend to help just from that accountability. And they've done that tried and true. So
it sounds like the value is definitely there.
Yeah, I think there's a value in it.
So what about, so you're saying you probably should establish yourself. So let's just say I'm a new agent. I'm just getting my feet wet. What's the first thing I should do?
Well, if you've already got your business plan, you're sponsored by a broker, you're going through training to make sure that you actually know how to do a transaction, to represent someone, then, I would say to start getting earning designations, not just for alphabet soup, but just to get the education and the experience, the understanding and the process. So there's different things that are kind of entry level. And then a lot of new agents will start with primarily representing buyers. So there's the ABR designation, there's the GRI designation, and those two kind of are for the newer agent just to get their feet wet and get them going, just to get an understanding of how to do that. But really, the most important thing is to understand what you find as success in your plan. What's your plan? To really define that plan, and then to seek the help of either your broker or maybe office managers within the brokerage firm that's you're working with, or even other agents. Try to get a mentor, somebody to kind of help you define that path and take the steps.
And I think some brokerages are actually really set up for that. They have mentorship programs. They have like start programs and things that they put their agents through. What if I'm with a brokerage that doesn't have that set in place?
So we do have, HAR provides a lot of services and education for newer members. Our Realtor Launch program is defined primarily for new agents, people that, or people that are going part-time to full-time, and to really kind of help them understand everything from branding and prospecting to contracts to close, from the buyer's side to the seller's side, and everything in between. We do handle budgeting and goal setting. We talk about contracts, just trying to get everybody to understand the process of what's going on and what the responsibility is for not only the agent, but the ancillary responsibilities as well. What happens during inspections and title and lending and all of that, so that you're equipped if you have a client. And we're very brand neutral in the Realtor Launch because we want to be respectful of the brokerage firms that have training programs in place. But it is approved for SAE. So, we try to encourage our new members to get some experience in understanding the process by starting with Realtor Launch and then moving on to GRI.
Yeah, I actually have had the opportunity of sitting in on Realtor Launch, and I just think it's such a great program. And the fact that you've reformatted it as well, so it's not like 4 days straight of class. It's week to week, and you send them out with assignments, so they actually have to go do the practicing. I think it's a really valuable program.
Yeah, so they have learning activities. So we're not trying to call it homework, but it's revenue generating activities to get you going in your business. So whether it's prospecting or holding an open house or doing something to kind of move their business in that direction of becoming profitable. We try to do that. But the fact that it's once a week, typically for 4 weeks, it gives them an opportunity to absorb everything and put it into practice. Some months we'll host it twice a week, but we try to rotate it around all the branch locations.
And then another thing, you do have like an inspector that will come in and talk to them, or somebody from a title company, and they're not there to sell their product or whatever the case is. They're really just there to help these realtors that are either brand new or, like you're saying, going from maybe part-time to full-time, to help them understand the process.
Well,
right?
Because there's title. So we bring in somebody to represent title to really kind of help clear up what's going on with title and why is it important for the agent to be able to convey to the consumer what's happening during the title process. Same thing with lending. We don't have them come in and talk about, I'm XYZ lender and here's my products. It's more like, okay, what's the responsibility of the consumer during the buying and selling process? What's the responsibility of the agent? Same thing with inspections and insurance. We have somebody come in and talk about insurance and different types of insurance, things that the policies that you might want to let them know is available and out there when they're trying to acquire that. Because new home buyers, as much information is out there, they still don't know it all. And so if you can lay it out in a clear, concise way, I like to give people more information. I always say, give them so much information that they're like, please stop giving me information. I mean, we have these lists that's like what every buyer needs to know, what every seller needs to know. And it's everything from like, don't open a credit card, don't quit your job, don't get a job, to, just to try to help them understand there's a lot going on in the process. Don't go buy
furniture, don't go buy a motorcycle, whatever the case is, right?
Don't find money.
Yes, don't find money. So I'm going to take a look to see if we have any questions so far. Not popping up. Bear with me just 1 second. Oh. We're on our Facebook Live here having a Facebook malfunction, but it's just on my end. It's not with the actual program. So give me just 1 second. Not showing anything. Here we go. Okay. So Debbie is asking, when was Realtor Launch reformatted?
So about 2 years ago, we changed it to include, we actually, TAR had a program, the Texas Realtors had a program called True Success, which was their new agent program that the local associations could adopt. And we had Realtor Launch, which was only approved for CE. And that's when it was 3 days back to back. And then we extended it to 4 days. And I was like, we really want it to be approved for SAE so that there's a benefit above and beyond just the education for our new agents. And so we went to TAR and said, hey, let's combine efforts. And so they adopted Realtor Launch and took it over. And so we implement it, but it's approved for SAE. So that was probably about 2 years ago.
That's great. So if you have any other questions for Rita, you can go ahead and type them into the comments. A lot of people telling you good morning.
Good morning.
Some people very excited to see you on here today as well. So we've talked about Realtor Launch. What are some other classes do we have coming up that you think would benefit our members as far as helping them develop that niche or adding to their value proposition?
So we are going to be hosting the Luxury Marketing Specialist designation at the Montgomery office in November. And we haven't held that course at the association for a few years now. And so, being able to get into that marketplace is, I think, really beneficial. And what is luxury? Luxury is different in Houston than it is in California and other parts of the country. So we will be hosting that. But something we haven't done in quite some time is host a series of CRB courses. Okay. And so those are for experienced owners and brokerages, similar to
CRB stands for?
It stands for Certified Real Estate Brokerage Manager.
Okay.
And so we're going to host a series of one-day CRB courses, and it's in the same kind of Realmo's CRS courses, which are very high-level opportunities for people that have been in the business for a long time, maybe at that broker level. They don't have to be the broker but a lot of them have their brokerage license. And so we're going to be doing 6 one-day sessions beginning, I believe, in May and running through for 6 months. And so that qualifies as their elective courses that they would need. And it's everything from recruiting and retention courses to business planning, but they're really high-level education. So we're excited to be offering those.
Great.
We're going to be offering the CRETS, which is the Team Specialist program. It's how to develop and implement and leverage your team. So we'll be offering that this year.
Necessary.
So we're excited about doing that. And one of the things that we are doing, again, we're doing the CNE, which is the Certified Negotiation Expert. We're also offering the RENE, which is the NAR Negotiation Expert course. But we're moving and actually offering all of our designation courses at all the branch locations as well as Central this year. And, with 40,000 members, we have the number of members spread out across the Houston marketplace that we need to be able to provide services out to them. And so we're hosting the ABRs and the SRSs and all the alphabet to all the locations.
Yeah, I think SRS is going on down the hall.
Yeah, we have the sellers representative specialist going on right now, and then we're going to move it around to the different areas. One of the things I would say is if you look at the calendar as members and you see something or you see something lacking, or you're wondering when we're going to host it in your area, if you reach out to us and we see that there's a need for it, we will look at adding it. If we have space, and we are looking at different outside HAR locations, such as we're at some builders locations across the city. We're trying to go out to Katy. We've got a lot of opportunities out in Cypress that aren't at HAR brick and mortar locations, but at builder sites and developers and that sort of thing, just to try to spread out the opportunity so that the members can have access to in-class education, not just online.
Right. That's great. Okay, let's just take a look here, see if we have anything else. Rubina asked, can you have the luxury market course at HAR Central? Many agents around Central serve the luxury market.
So we can, but we're going to start with the Woodlands office, just because of the capacity that we have right now, with it being such a large classroom, and just we're just going to have that one time, have everybody come from Central and go out to the Woodlands office.
Yeah.
So you might just have to drive 1 or 2 days, but I think it'll be worth it.
Yeah, if the value is there for the class, it's worth the drive, right?
And the good thing is you'll be going against traffic if you're coming from central part of Houston.
Kim asked, will there be any weekend classes offered anytime soon?
So we do host weekend classes. We do twice a month at HAR Central, and then once a month at HAR Fort Bend, and once a month at HAR Montgomery. We don't currently have any classes in the Bay Area office, and that's just, I think that they shut the AC off on the weekends at the Bay Area office. It's not,
that building is a little different, right?
And so, but we're still looking at that. But we definitely do host classes on the weekend.
A lot of weekend classes, and I think most of our super centers are open on the weekend.
All the stores are open, and then there's chat as well.
Absolutely. Lainey just made a comment. Talk about HAR Engage. You want to tell us a little bit about Engage?
Sure. So on October 23rd at the Norris Conference Center is our annual HAR event. You can check out the website, and there's actually a lot of high-level speakers. It's basically a full day of education and professional development opportunities with very high-level, high-caliber speakers that come in. Definitely.
And there's tracks now as well, right?
We're working on doing some tracks to try to kind of keep it where it's relevant to whoever's, wherever your business is. So whether you're a newer agent or somebody looking to do something more along the lines of brokerages or teams, we're trying to look at different ways of laying out those tracks.
Right. So no matter where you are in your business, you'll find value there. Good. William asked, do you think evening classes will be coming in the near future?
No. We have to consider all things with staffing and security and just overall, what the attendance would be like. And it's just at this point, it's not an option for us. I don't think that the staff in our department would love me very much. But we did at one point about 4 or 5 years ago do some new agent training. And it did fall into the evening, and our numbers were actually really, really low. So at this point, the weekends are really our only opportunity to expand beyond the Monday through Friday.
Yeah. So just a few more people just requesting a luxury home class at Central.
Sure.
Jean said that she doesn't see the luxury class listed on the website. Jean, I can go and pull that link for you after we finish here and put it in there so that you have quick access to it.
And if you'll go to har.com/edu, we do have all the classes listed there. But with the luxury marketing specialist specifically, they will be taking registration so that they can send you content and pre-course work and that sort of thing. So if the Central or the Montgomery office location is super successful, then we can look at Central. But at this point, just on availability and spacing and all of that, they requested that the Luxury Institute actually requested that we provide them with an opportunity for more space. And so that was why the Woodlands.
Yeah, and that office can seat
up to 80, 90 people.
Wow. Yeah. So that's definitely the biggest one. And they're just requesting it at other places as well. So for now, Montgomery County, but maybe in the future, it's something that you could do. Well, that looks like all the questions that we have coming in from our members. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I think just, checking out the calendar, making sure that there's courses out there that you participate in. And, it's always really important for you to continue to build your business and to take education seriously because, it's not just about looking at the alphabet soup, but it's a way to establish yourself in this profession and also to, separate yourself from the masses. If somebody sees that you're constantly, earning designations or taking part in education, people are more likely to look at you as a candidate to hire. And then, it's just like with anything else. If you're doing a search and you're looking for somebody that has, negotiation expertise or represents, knows a lot about affordable housing, or veterans affairs, right, you're more likely to be somebody that they seek out.
Okay, that's great. When will you have the negotiation classes at Central? I don't know if you know the calendar offhand.
Well, we have them. They're all on there, and so we have them at Central. Later this fall, we will have the CNE, and then later this summer we have the RENE. So we're doing both, and we're doing a series of both.
What's the difference between the two?
So RENE is the NAR recognized designation, and it's a 2-day course. And then the CNE was actually created by the Negotiation Institute out of Arizona. And one of the things that people want is an agent that can negotiate on their behalf. That's one of the
course.
number one things they want, buyer side or seller sides. It's not just representing one or the other. So we're offering both. And I
That's
think
great.
they're both really great designations.
Okay. Maria's just asking, she said she's taking the luxury course at Champions. Do you think that's a good class?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a wonderful class. And I think that really anything that can help to expand your knowledge of what something is all about and how you can, succeed in it. And yeah, Champions has wonderful courses and programs. We're not in competition with one another. We want everybody to be smarter and more professional. And so just
encourage professional development.
Yes. So the more that you can participate, please do.
Yeah. Richard just made a comment. Professional development does an awesome job at looking out for the agents and getting the best of everything they need to succeed. Thank you.
Well, thank you. But yeah, I would just say, we have a lot of short classes that are 2 and 3 hours that you can just register for. They're,
a lot of them are free.
Yeah, we have a lot of free classes. I would say 99% of everything we do is approved for continuing education. So, if it's just 18 hours that you need and you want to go in and do a package, we have those all year round. But if you want some things to just kind of get in and learn a little bit more, there's contracts or how to host an open house successfully or how to handle objections. We do a lot of 2 and 3 hour classes, and they're just a nominal charge or a deposit. So you don't get so we don't steal a seat from somebody that'll show up.
Yeah, and the staff that you have in your office, they're great. They can guide you if you have questions, and they know all the classes inside and out.
They do, and we ask that they all audit the classes so that they're familiar with being able to tell you, a little bit more about them if you're seeking something specific out.
So we do have one more question. Monica's asking about, what about the social media bootcamp class? Is it worth it to take? Will it help to get more clients through social media?
So we actually had a long time ago, we started off with a lot of short 2-hour courses, and it was, Facebook 101, Twitter 101, LinkedIn, all of that. And then we established the boot camp out of that because people really wanted a one-stop shop where everything could be tied together. And how do you build one off of the other? And a lot of them do tie together. The platforms communicate with one another. And so the Social Media Pro Bootcamp is an awesome program. It gives you 12 hours of continuing education, plus you get an HAR certification. And Christina teaches it. So we won't say anything, too bad. But no, it's a wonderful class because not only does it teach you how to use and implement the social media platforms in your business, but it also, kind of ties them all together. And then she includes, you include a lot of stuff on, what the rules and regulations are, the advertising things. And so it's a great program. It's definitely worth the bang for the buck.
Yes. I would agree, not to toot my own horn, but yes, I would agree. One more, I said one more question last time, but this is going to be the last one we'll take just because I know that you are very busy. Yvonne said, could you please touch on getting the buyer representation designation?
So are you the buyer? Okay, ABR.
Buyer's rep.
Yes. So we do have, we offer the ABR quite a bit. It's the Accredited Buyer's Representative Specialist. And it's designed for agents who are going to primarily be working with buyers. A lot of times newer agents do, like I said, get that designation. It's a 2-day course with, if you can take a 3rd day elective, some of the other designations qualify as that elective. And then there is, once you complete the designation, there's some qualifiers that you have to do. There's, I don't know, I think there still is an application fee that you have to process through NAR. And then you have to represent a few buyers to have that experience side of it, not just the education, and then you can earn the designation. So what I would say is to make sure you go to REBAC's website, NAR's website, and look at the qualifiers for the ABR, but you obviously have to take the course to be able to even earn the designation.
Yeah, very good. Well, this has been really, really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to throw in?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, that is it for this week. But actually, I do want to tell you guys that next week we are going to have Brandy Liss, who she's actually a realtor, but she's coming on as a safety expert. And I know you know Brandy very well.
I do know Brandy very well.
And she's going to be talking all about realtor safety. September is actually Realtor Safety Month, but she is going to be having a series of classes here as well. So for all about safety. So she's going to be on next Monday at 9 a.m. So be sure to tune in. We'll see you then. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.